Hi there, welcome to the Week in Review for the Colorado State Senate. I'm Senate Minority Leader Mike Kopp. Republicans this week passed some important measures that I'd like to tell you about. The first is the Blueprint for a Leaner Government Act. This passed out of the Finance Committee by a vote of 7-0, and I was pleased to garner the support of both Democrats and Republicans alike in that committee. This bill will allow us for the first time in 50 years as a state to review every spending item in the state budget through a constructive and principled grid. We'll look at spending programs to determine whether there are redundancies, if there are areas of waste, fraud, and abuse. We'll also take a look at whether there are things that would be better done by private organizations or even the nonprofit sector. And we'll begin to develop a blueprint, a roadmap, to re-envision the way that we do government here in the state of Colorado. Also, Senator Keith King passed Senate Bill 19 out of committee. The upshot of this bill is that it will increase health care choices for small businesses in our state. It's a very important topic of conversation to have down here, and we need to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to drive down the costs of health care provision for small businesses here in the state of Colorado. The Senate also took up debate this week on House Joint Resolution 1007, some of our most heated floor debate to date. In this resolution, the Republicans made the case that we should anticipate lower revenues coming into state coffers and position ourselves to spend less. The Democrat opposition to this, which ultimately prevailed because of the weight of their party, suggested that we plan for higher revenues coming into state coffers. This is likely a debate that will continue on throughout the remainder of the session, but I think it's fair to say that both sides are hoping we can have a constructive and robust debate going forward as we seek to balance the state's budget. These bills and these issues will continue to make their way through the legislature over the next few weeks, and I hope that you'll tune in every week as we do our Week in Review, and we'll talk about them and their progress. Thanks.
This session, Democrats' top priority is balancing the budget in a responsible way and supporting economic growth. The state faces a $1.2 billion budget shortfall. We will balance a budget responsibly. We will do everything possible to provide education for our children and prepare them for the jobs of our future. This week, the Senate debated the annual revenue resolution. This resolution sets the number the Joint Budget Committee will use to begin writing next year's budget. The legislature was given two revenue estimates from state economists. One estimate was more optimistic, and the other was more conservative. Senate Democrats chose to use the more conservative estimate. However, Senate Republicans tried to make an arbitrary cut to the conservative estimate of about $200 million. That cut is the equivalent of 3,200 school teachers losing their jobs. Democrats chose to stand with Colorado's children to fight for their schools. The future of our economy depends on how well we educate our children. And in the weeks ahead, Democrats will continue to work to support Colorado's kids. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to visiting with you again next week. Thank you.